Welcome, everybody. This is the February 14th, Valentine's Day, Zoom event with the Green Valley Camera Club uh, Multimedia Group. And we are joined by a bunch of people in the club, actually, as well as the rest of us on Zoom. So we're getting started here. Does anyone have anything for the good of the order before we start showing videos?
Nope.
Nope. All right. So Arlene, I believe you're up first.
Well, here's the thing. I was asked to put together a video. So this would be my first paid video. And so this is my friend's company. And so I'm meeting with her on Wednesday, but I did something, ahead of time, like the opening and stuff like that. So I just want you to let me know what you think of it, or, maybe changes I could make. But anyway, this is what I have so far. Oops, did I do this?
I see where you're going. Absolutely see where you're going. But I don't want you to beat me up. I don't want you to beat me up, but it's too much to read. Far too much to read.
Too much to read.
Yeah, I could not
either
read that fast.
Break it up into pieces or get a narration in place of it or in addition to it. One way or the other. But it's just too much to read.
Who's this intended for?
Wait a minute. How do I get back? I can't. How do I get back?
It's clear up at the top and it's little red. It's a little right there almost.
Oh, there. Okay. Got it. Okay. So it's okay. So it's too much to read.
Thank you. Now the question is, Arlene, who is it intended for? Who's going to watch this? If it's for clinicians, it's not too much to read. Believe me.
Okay.
Boy.
I truly don't know. All she said was, think about it. And so I'm meeting with her on Wednesday. So I said, well, I'll come with my camera and, I'll do a couple of shots. And she wanted headshots with some of the employees. And so I said, well, here, this is what I've done so far. Think about it. Let me know.
The first thing to know is, who is your audience?
I don't know.
Well, no,
Yeah,
that's the question to ask.
You need to ask that.
That would be ultimately. The other suggestion I had, Arlene, I thought your text is fine in terms of what you're saying, but maybe, as Jean says, what I would do is break it up into smaller sections. So, and the text could come on and come off the screen, just so that the person, there's a little bit more interest. Like Jean said, when you first see that big block of text, it's like, wow, that's a lot to read. And I think people maybe get distracted by that. So maybe if you break like that first section, that first block of text, and break that up into 2 or 3 even sentences maybe. And that would be a little easier on the eyes, and then fade in, fade out with the text. I think that would be nice.
What about the intro? Did you like the intro?
The intro was fine.
Great.
It was snazzy, yeah, eye-catching. So I would prefer to have the text on the screen in small bits and it be narrated.
Be narrated, okay.
And it be read to you. Both. Then auditory, both are learners type of people can get it. I don't know. What's your rest of your suggestion?
I like that idea.
But if you're gonna do that, instead of putting all the text, use bullet points and narration, I would suggest would be powerful. And one little technical error, the word destruct is a noun, not a verb. Destroy is what
Yeah, I
you
saw that.
use.
So what should it be?
Destroy.
Destroy?
Destroy instead of destruct.
Oh, because I copied it verbatim off of their website.
That's the beauty of it.
That's why you have a Canadian here.
Hey, that's what I always tell clients. I always tell them, hey, I just do a cut and paste. You wrote it. I'm just cutting and pasting what you said. So there you go.
Okay, yeah, because she's going to pay me, and I thought, oh, because I always do things for fun, with the, dinosaurs and the sounds, and so this is my first regular video.
Well, the other part is you have a kind of a neat background movie going behind each slide. If your text boxes were lower and being read, then you could, if you're listening, then you could enjoy what the background is. It wouldn't be so covered up.
The only thing I would say about that, Grace, to me, the background is more of she's got it a little bit out of focus in some of them, which I think is great. If the person's trying to read what's going on and then they're also trying to look at the visual, I think the background is just the fluff.
Yeah.
What's important is what's being said. So if it's me, I think that's where you go with that. She's doing fine where the text is. The other suggestion I had, Arlene, is, and you'll find this out when you get together with your client, you're basically just looking for feedback as to what they think, what they like, what they don't like. And then you just take all that in and then adjust the video according to what they want. I deal with this all the time with clients, and basically you kind of rough it up like you did, and then you go ahead and show it to them. They tell you what they like, what they don't like. You make those changes, you make them happy, and away you go.
So this is the first time I'm getting paid. Do you believe this?
Okay?
Yeah.
That's why the pressure is on. When you're doing something for fun, it's a whole different animal than when you're doing it for money.
Yeah.
So it ended abruptly. I take it that's just the first part and there will be more.
Because I want her to talk. She's a good talker. So I want her to talk, and then I would be taking photos and videos of her employees at work doing whatever they're doing, because I have no idea what they're doing, so.
Okay.
It should be a
You're off
fun
to a
project.
good start,
Yes,
I think.
Yeah.
we all agree. Good job so far.
All right, thanks.
Arlene, keep us posted on how it goes. We're sort of your cheering squad behind you here. And we'd like to
I know,
keep up
because I
with
was
it.
saying to Grace, I said, Mondays aren't always good because, I meet with some of my girlfriends, and, so that's why I can't always make it on Mondays. But anyway, so back to my video. Was the music okay, or would you want
Perfect.
something more, like
Absolutely.
triumphant, or
No,
No.
no? The music is okay. The music's good for corporate, because I how I like the epic and triumphant.
No, it's good.
Okay.
I think you're trying to, like with the music, again, it's like your visual, you're trying to have that as fluff, so to speak, and not have people get distracted by the the music. So perfect, absolutely perfect.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Well, good job. Great start, I think. Okay. So, of the rest of you, let's see. Todd, do you want to go next?
Yeah, well, give me a second here. We'll fire this up for you and we'll have Todd talk about it. Todd,
All
come
right.
up to the front.
You woke up.
Watching the door too.
Uh,
So this video is of the Rose Parade this past year, and I had a great deal of difficulty rendering it. And with the folks here and helping me out and everything, I was finally able to get it rendered. But there's parts of it that didn't render as I had produced it on the timeline. I have one section that you'll see that's it shows a biplane, because in the beginning they had biplanes fly over and drop rose petals. And so I had the biplane and rose petals floating down from the sky. When I rendered it, it separated it into two separate clips. And so it just shows the rose petals and then the plane separately. So I'm not quite sure what happened or how that happened in this video.
Magic.
And then there's another section where I had three like vertical panels, and I had 1, 2, 3, but it only captured one. And so then I went back and broke it into 3 separate ones. So you'll see black screen on both sides of them.
Is this
instead
Da
of
Vinci?
Yeah, this is a
All
Da
Da
Vinci.
Vinci.
All Da Vinci.
Huh.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go, folks.
Many of us grew up watching the Rose Parade on New Year's Day since we were small children. It was a tradition to watch, followed by the granddaddy of all football games, the Rose Bowl. They both bring back fond memories spending that day with my family. We ate what I was told was traditional New Year's Day fare, pork and sauerkraut, which would bring good luck and progress to the coming year. The parade that started in 1890 by the Valley Hunt Club, it was mostly horse-drawn carriages parading down the main street in Pasadena. 10 years later, a feature film was done on the parade and distributed throughout the United States. 2 years later, in 1902, the first postseason collegiate football game was played between Michigan and Stanford, which is why it is called the granddaddy of the postseason football games. 1912 brought a new tradition to the parade of a flyover sprinkling rose petals from the sky. That tradition continues today, but the flyover is a B-2 stealth bomber. In 1920, the first motorized floats entered, ending the horse-drawn era. And in 1935, the first commercial floats were permitted. It wasn't until 1947 that the first TV broadcast of the parade took place, and it continues to this day. We boarded our bus at Marina del Rey for the half-hour ride to the Rose Bowl grounds. There were many buses in the parking lot as we arrived, and as we departed the bus, we were told to queue up for the entrance into the barns, where they are putting the final touches on some of the floats. Our first peek was trays of flowers staged outside the barn waiting to be placed on the floats. Upon entry to a walkway suspended above the barn floor, we see the storeroom. A small kitchen was available to feed the workers, and artist renderings of the design concept for each float. With a dozen or so floats in the barn, many volunteers were diligently working these last hours to put the final touches on the floats. We boarded our bus around 5:30 in the morning. Traffic was heavy for our trip to Pasadena. As expected, the Goodyear blimp was in attendance, and the equestrian troops were staging below on a Santa Monica freeway. Ohio State fans were well represented, chanting back and forth, OH, IO. Antique vehicles transported the Grand Marshal LeVar Burton and other dignitaries. Sit back and enjoy the sights and sounds of the Rose Parade 2022. Personally attending was a great experience. Now off to our next adventure.
Well, I like that. You're going to have to make sure you show that at either Travelog or Showtime.
Needs a little fine tuning.
It needs fine tuning. The other thing we need to get you, Todd, we need to get you a gimbal.
I was going to add a gimbal or one of Todd or one of or one of Todd's strings.
Yeah, no, I actually was on, everything you saw at the parade there, I shot on a monopod.
Yeah, but the problem is you're
Still-
so jerky. Did you run it through a stabilizer at all, in video stabilizer?
So when you see the videos of the equestrian
Right,
and the floats,
right,
they really move slow.
right.
So I sped it up.
Sure.
He speed ramps all of it, which
Mm.
was
It's
So
just,
I did that
okay.
because of the amount of time
Yeah, but then
and everything.
maybe-
You know what? You could have slow mode that and made it look better and just shorten the scene.
Cut it down. I would agree.
That
Okay.
would just gave a jerky.
No,
motion to
you're
the whole
absolutely right.
thing.
Yeah, I'm not happy, I was not happy, but I wanted to,
Yeah.
show it, this, it's your guys' opinion.
And at the end, when you say, and you should say, and now on to our next adventure, not now on to our next adventure.
Also, Todd, you were talking about the rose petals and the airplane. There is a YouTube video with the rose petals on a green screen, and you can download that video, and then you can superimpose it, lay it on the track above the airplane, and you'll get the rose petals coming down perfectly.
So this is one of the issues I was having with rendering, because when I play through my entire timeline, because I have it set up like that, it plays like that. You see the airplane and then the rose petals dropping down. But when I rendered it, it switched it over to this.
I don't know.
Right.
That's a real mystery.
Brian, Mr. Da Vinci, can you talk about this?
Mr. Da Vinci. You guys are bad.
I was wondering what
He is
camera
Mr.
you're
Vinci.
using.
What's that?
What camera are you using?
I was using my Canon D90.
Okay. For something like that, I'd go with the GoPro on a little gimbal. But that would make it hard to get zoom in shots. You can get a really decent gimbal for under $100 these days.
Yeah. Edit in 720.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, or yeah.
Yeah. You know, the other thing, Todd, and I know you're going to tweak this some more, your voice level was low. You know, we had when we showed Arlene's and stuff here on the screen,
Yeah.
we had the volume turned to a certain level. Well, as soon as I put yours on, I had to turn the volume way up.
So I need to
So
increase
you
it.
need to increase that. The other thing that you might look at too is when you're doing your music from your vocal narration to the music, you have it just boom, go right up. The music just went right up and there wasn't a nice little fade up. So it's very abrupt. So it just needs some tweaking. I think you're headed down the right path, but just need to tweak a little bit.
Yeah, so what I was trying to do with the music on DaVinci, it has an auto set up for that.
Uh-oh.
And so that's what I was attempting to do was the auto where it's, so I normalized my voice
Right.
and I normalized the music. And so then you set a threshold as to where you want that to kick in, and it's supposed to automatically kick in, and you're right. It just
So it's
jumped right back up.
auto ducking.
Auto.
That's the problem.
Yes, auto bad.
Auto-
Manual, much better. Be a caveman, Todd. Auto bad.
Well,
Manual
you know,
good.
because I had so many problems with rendering
Oh
this.
my God.
Watched a gazillion YouTubes and everything, and one of them was, hey, this is really simple to do. You can set up, it's gonna hear your voice and it's automatically gonna duck. You're not gonna have to do it, clip by clip and everything. So I'm like, well, that sounds pretty cool. Let's try this. So that was my intent at that and everything, and I agree. Either that or I'm sure there's probably more in depth to that than what this guy was showing, because it was like a 5-minute clip
Sure.
on the
Well, the camera did a great job. I thought on this TV set anyway, the quality of the images were fantastic.
I was going to ask about that. So what I was seeing on Zoom was not good. It was jerky and so forth. So I'm happy to hear that it looked good directly on the TV.
Well, the speed ramping was horrid.
Yes.
But the quality of the image, the saturation, the colorimetry, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I thought.
I loved the photos.
The still photos were
the
nice.
still photos were
Yeah.
beautiful.
You shot those
Faded in
before,
nice, yeah.
or somebody did.
Oh, I shot everything.
Well, no, you said the still photography was done by some.
Oh, the black and whites.
Yeah, but wasn't there a woman you credited at the end for still
My
photography?
wife.
Oh, well, then,
She took some shots too.
okay.
Because actually, I shot all video inside what they call the barn, where they're putting the floats together. I deleted it.
Oh.
So I had to go to Sally's photos to have photos for the barn and everything. I'm like, oh my God, how did you do
Gotta
that?
go back.
Somehow I
Yeah.
deleted it.
Good points.
You'll be going back next year with all these secrets and the magic you've now learned, right?
Well, at least for
Yes.
me, any project, after I do it, then show it to you guys and everything, then I'm like, okay,
Well, the
next
cutaway-
time.
the still cutaways
Are nice.
were really nice.
Yes.
I know your wife shot that, or you shot it, or somebody shot it, and that looked great
Yeah.
because you're able to get in tight, which you couldn't do in the parade.
Right.
Get in tight.
Oh, no, so after the parade, I didn't put any of this in the video, after the parade, they lined all the floats up over near the high school.
Oh, okay.
And so you can go over and walk around, and that's where I got the still, so then I took, like the Wild Kingdom float and everything, and then I had stills for it, so then I took it and put it along there.
Nice.
To see, better
Yep.
instead of trying to zoom in.
Well, that was good. That was a nice
Yeah,
time.
that was nice.
Yeah. Well, Todd, good start.
I'll keep working.
Good start.
That's why
Yeah.
This is only the second cut.
Yeah, right.
You end up with about 5 for each video before I'm, either I'm okay with it, or I'm like, okay, I've worked enough on this one, I'm going to the next.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Kevin, Royce, Doug left.
Let's show Royce's and then.
I've got a couple too at the end, Grace.
All right. Gene has.
Hang on a second.
Add me in.
I will put you on the list.
And I redid the how to show your video in Zoom thing.
Okay. So Brian's got.
Brian, you just did that because I did one and you wanted to up me, and you did.
No, that's a redo. I had an earlier version.
I'm teasing you.
Wilbur?
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on a second on our end. We're just getting this going here, folks.
Okay. We're doing
This is Royce.
Royce. Got it.
Hang on. Royce, you want to talk about it a little bit?
Local guy, took us through a ranch, Doug and I, and local ranch over here. And it was he was very informative, and a lot of information. So I recorded him, put some still shots in about it. So it's just a local ranch visit.
Great. All right, here we go, folks.
Well, today we have hiked to the Wilbur Cruz Ranch, which is about 4 miles west of Arivaca, Arizona. It's kind of a deserted place, as you've seen and can see. It was abandoned about 25 years ago and inhabited by a bunch of people that didn't treat it too well. And eventually it burned down because of negligence and things that some of the short-term inhabitants did here, probably building fires in the corners. There's a beautiful old block building, stuccoed over that, and then whitewashed with a lime finish to make it nice and bright. And we're just north of Mexico, probably 5-6 miles. It was, I don't know when it started to be built, but I can imagine that this was in the very early 1900s, and they probably had other buildings here prior to this one. But this one is pretty modern. We had a lot of running water. We found a wellhead out here. They had quite a place here. There's probably about 500 pounds of barbed wire out in the fields here. There's an old barn in back of us here. There's an old summertime picnic area and cooking area out here. There's about 3 rooms here, and there was a upstairs here and an attic in some of the other areas. The Wilbur family and the Cruz family, they were old residents in this area and had been here for quite some time. I think Mr. Wilbur was a doctor and treated miners over in the old town of Ruby, which is about 10 to 12 miles off to the south. And they had a cattle ranch here. I don't know if probably a cow-calf operation, a dairy farm as well, dairy cattle as well. And it was given to the county probably about 25 years ago when it was kind of abandoned. And before it burned, it actually burned, I think, about 20 years ago.
And who is this gentleman?
Very nice.
Very nice.
I liked it.
Doug introduced me to him. He's an official guide over here at the other ranch.
Well done.
And that's owned by the county?
Yeah, that is your ranch apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the narration was great, the storytelling, and I loved how you worked in the visuals. Was nice. That all synced up nice. The sound was good. There was a little bit of wind noise, but that's unless you had some headphones on, you'd never know
I
that.
never noticed that till this.
Oh, really?
I never noticed that. Yeah.
But other than that, the other thing, the only thing I would do next time, just as a quickie, take the camera out of autofocus.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I go, gee whiz. When he
Yeah.
was going on and on about the place, and I go, okay, stop. I'm gonna do a shoot. Stick my phone up, held it against the building.
Oh, you're using your phone.
I used my phone.
Okay.
And I just had him go. And I said, okay, that's enough. Because he was just gonna keep going.
Sure.
So I just had him do it.
No, he was really good.
Yeah, he's very good.
Mhm.
Yeah. very
Well, if that's the
interesting
case, then I guess you can't take it out of autofocus.
guy. Well, I could. But anyway,
Well, you can, yes, you can. You can lock in focus.
Yeah,
Oh,
we could.
Okay, so you can lock in the focus on him, then recompose your shot.
Yeah.
So that he's offside. Off
really
center.
nice. Really nice job. Music was great. The levels were good.
Yeah, I took his audio and boosted it all the way up before it clipped.
Okay.
And then the music, I put it down 60 dB or whatever. And I used ducking, then my little
Wow.
auto ducking.
So what was your editor? Right.
Aurora. Nobody else here uses that. I use.
Okay. But the camera was the phone.
Yep, phone SA, old SA phone.
And did you have it stabilized in some way? Because I did
Oh,
not notice that it was moving at all.
I was holding it against the building.
Oh, good for you.
Hand stabilized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really, that worked.
Yeah.
Good job.
Well, I knew it was, yeah, the focus was going and the light was adjusting and it was annoying, but anyway.
Yeah.
Those are minor technical things.
And you got Doug in the shot.
The stills were with my Canon.
Nice.
So, with the drone.
Okay, good job, Royce. Who's next? We've got Doug and Kevin and Brian and Jean.
Well, why don't you have Gene show something and then we'll get something set up here that we can show for Doug and myself. How's that sound?
That sounds good. Okay. Jean,
Let
you're
me
on.
explain. Yeah, I'll explain really quickly before I start. And I'm gonna try and I can't do it. It won't work. I was gonna try and paste something into the chat room, but anyway, I'll share it later. First things first. Several people have mentioned cinematic effects. Like I could take my phone and push this button and it said, I get the cinematic look. So that was just driving me crazy. I couldn't figure out what cinematic look meant. I went on YouTube. I defined, finally, I found what the phone and cameras do to get the cinematic look. And it was about 10 steps, and I did them all. I made the screen wider. I changed the lux. I changed the frame rate. And I also decided to steal a piece of video from a wedding photographer I know who uses a drone, because I figured, hey, look like the movies will use the drone. So let me share this with you. Yeah, we got it now. I just wanted everybody to see what it was. There's probably a half dozen changes that were made to the original video clip, which in essence was cinematic in and of itself. I picked it because it was dramatic drone footage. Now I'm probably going to have to buy a drone for God's sakes, because I liked it too much. But I just wanted to see it's a lot more complicated than just pushing a button and saying, wow. It even changed. I even put a set of LUTs in that I got from whatever that company is that does them all. And it was fun, but it was a lot more work than pushing a button. All right, let me, I got one more real quick, and I have to share this with you, not because of its quality. This is just a little clip to experiment with a couple of strange techniques. Number one, this is made with something called InVideo. And what they do is you put a topic in and they go out online and they research some blocks of text about your topic and bring them back to you in a storyboard format. So my question was, how come the Detroit Lions play football every year on Thanksgiving Day? So I typed that question in, and sure and good enough, it came back with a whole series, I think like 6 paragraphs about why the Detroit Lions play football on Thanksgiving Day. Then it went to Pixabay, the site that's a free stock photo, and it pulled down automatically a bunch of photos that I might be able to use to go along with the text. I didn't do anything. I just watched it. Then I went back and I did pick out, I want to use this one. No, I don't want to use that one, and went through it. And earlier this year, I had been talking to everybody about voiceovers and text to speech. And I said, how can I get text to speech without dropping $100 for some program? Well, you guys, OneNote out of Windows will do beautiful text to speech. You go in there and you type your text in, and there's a little button on top that says read it out loud, and it reads your speech really, your text really nice. And then I just let Audacity run in the background and recorded it. So this is the final product. It's not a top quality video. It's merely an experiment in these crazy semi-automated techniques. Let me play it for you. It's about 1.5 minutes long.
Turkey, cranberries, pumpkin pie. Of the ever-present figure, the Detroit Lions. The Lions' role as part of our Thanksgiving is as inexplicable as the uncle who nobody likes is always invited to the Thanksgiving table out of duty. The Lions, on the other hand, just turn up, half drunk, screaming about his ex-wife, reminiscing about their glory days during the Eisenhower administration, before falling asleep with a lit cigarette in hand and burning a hole in the sofa. So why do the Lions play on Thanksgiving Day? When the Lions moved to Detroit in 1934, owner G. Richards wanted to feature them in a publicity-grabbing game. Richards was hellbent on starting a new tradition. He proposed the Lions and Bears play on Thanksgiving, which turned into a massive success. Radio broadcasts of the game were listened far beyond Michigan and Illinois, and giving people football on the holiday proved to be just what the nation wanted. While people tend to think the NFL picked Detroit to play on Thanksgiving, really it's the opposite. The Lions started the entire Thanksgiving football tradition, and the league still honors that contribution by having them always play no matter how bad their games tend to be. The Lions die on Thanksgiving almost as often as turkeys. The holiday has been, well, let's say unkind to the Lions. That original game in 1934 was a loss to George Halas' legendary Bears, and to be honest, it hasn't gotten a lot better since.
That was kind of interesting. Now again, whoops, I'm sorry, because of the way it was made. And I got one final short one. Brian saved my life at least 5 times this week with his video on how you share videos on Zoom. And we used it in several classes. And Brian, I'm eternally grateful to you. And teasingly, Pat Kniff was here earlier. He has the Hit Me With Your Best Shot SIG on Fridays, where the people share still pictures. So I thought I'd produce a video where we can show people how to share still pictures. Except I didn't exactly, I wanted a simple way to do it. So I figured one out. When I want to do, how do I say it, on-screen stuff, with myself in it as a narration, I simply now open up my own personal Zoom account. I have myself a meeting with myself, and I record it, and then get some pretty good video out of it. So this is just a couple minutes long. Also, take a peek. The purpose of this short video is to teach people who are using one of our online Zoom classes on how to share a photograph with other people in that Zoom meeting. It's really quite simple. It's a quick 5-step process. First, you copy the photos you wish to share to the Windows desktop. You open one of those photos in whatever the default viewer is on your computer, and you minimize it. You then go to the Zoom meeting where the sharing will take place and join that meeting. When you're ready to share your photograph, you click the green screen share button on the bottom of the Zoom screen. You will then see your desktop look for the picture you wish to share on the desktop and select it. The first thing you need to do is to find a photograph that you want to use and copy it to your desktop. So in this case, we're going to go to my pictures and I will copy one of the pictures to my desktop. So we'll copy this one, copy it. Make sure I've copied it and go to the desktop and paste it in, which will then put that picture on the desktop. Along with that process, we want to open the picture in the default viewer. By double clicking it, we've automatically opened the photo in the default viewer. Next step is to minimize that folder. It's on your desktop, it's minimized, it's sitting here. If you have more than one picture on the desktop, they will all be available here at the bottom of the screen. Okay, at this point, we have opened our Zoom meeting, and I am ready to share the photograph that I had on the desktop with other members or participants in this Zoom meeting. You'll notice the green share screen button down here at the bottom. If you don't see that, tell the host, because it's part of one of the security features on Zoom. But you click on that green screen share button and you will now see what's available on your desktop to share. And the photo that we wanted to share is now available. If you're using a video, you may have to click these buttons at the bottom, but for a still picture, you don't. Just simply pick the picture and go over here and hit the share button. And at that point, everybody and all the participants in that Zoom meeting will see your picture on the screen. When you're done, you can then stop the share up here with the red button on the top, and you will be back to your regular Zoom meeting. Okay, now we're back. Again, the quality, I mean, I would go back and adjust a bunch of things, but the techniques are what I was playing with. That in video one, it's almost robot made. I mean, it's just an amazing process. I don't know, and that's as quick as I can show you. I was just experiments that I was playing with last week.
Pretty straightforward, Gene. That's the way it should be.
Thank you.
It makes me glad I'm an Apple person.
Sorry
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. Hey, while we're on that subject, can you easily screen record on your Apple?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I want to know.
The recording right now is going to the cloud, but I could have chosen to my laptop.
Oh, yeah, but I'm talking about when you're doing something else. When I was demoing how to do, I don't know, anything, and I wanted to show my laptop screen. Can you screen record easily?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, okay. I can do screenshots. I can yes, I can record.
Because I had to get a little extra program, VSCD screen recorder, to be able to record my screen the way I wanted. It is not built into Windows that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Now I can record use of a window or my screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either one. Yep.
Because that's one of the
and it's a three button push, and the options come up.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway,
for those of you that are Apple people, it's let me just double check this. Shift Command 5.
Okay.
Shift Command 5 will bring you up to capture the entire screen, capture the selected window, just do a screenshot where you can select what you want, record the entire screen, or record a selected portion of the screen. And then there's some other options.
Because there's a lot of potential in here somewhere for instructional videos, and there really is. You see so many of them on YouTube, and a vast majority of them are, I want to say, poorly done for a multitude of reasons. Some of them have excellent technical setups, where they've got probably shot through a DSLR, lighting's great, everything, and they have no pedagogical techniques. They got a, hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Kind of thing. And, come on. It's just pretty bad. Or, there are people whose native language is not English, so it makes it incredibly difficult. And I have this Russian girl that does photo editing, and, I have a hard time following her. But anyway, long story short, it's just stuff to play with for the future. We'll keep trying.
Right. And you can, if just with the free Zoom, you can set up a meeting with yourself and record it.
Yeah, it works. Yeah. I just discovered that. It works great.
Yeah.
I do have an external camera other than my laptop, that I'm using, a USB camera, because it's a little bit better quality than the camera that's built in my laptop. But still, that's an easy way. I can put fake backgrounds up. I can adjust the sound level. I can play around with my meeting, and it works great.
Good to know. Okay.
And the OneNote recording for voice is excellent. Go play with it.
Okay. And voice memo is on the Mac.
Yes, and they're the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Doug, Kevin, and Brian.
Okay. I'm going to share this real quick. This is when we have our YouTube that we put up on YouTube, this Zoom show. I talked about creating an open and a close for the video, because I do go in and edit and clean up a little bit of stuff in case there's any stuff that we don't want to show. Anyway, so what I did is I created two, an open and a close. They're different, and I just want to see what people think before we finally use this. So let's see if we can do this. Hang on. And I'll play it twice. The intro is only 8 seconds. The out, I think, is 6. So very quick.
Makes us look like we have our own pool. I really like it.
We're a really happy club here. Hang on 1 second, and let me get I'll get the close up. 1 second here. All right, what do we think? Do we like it? Do we want to change anything?
Looks good. So you will be editing today's show?
Yeah, what I end up doing on all our shows when we're doing this, if there's anything that's bad, or like in some cases, like we showed Royce's video, well, I'll take his video and insert that in versus being over Zoom. So in case there's a bad connection, and I'll do that for anybody's. We've done that in the past, like with Todd's or anyone else's. And so we make sure we get a nice clean video for YouTube. So I'll do that. And then if there's any, like, you know how I screwed up there at the beginning when I had the wrong screen, I'll get rid of that so I look like I'm smart. So there you go.
I have one suggestion, possibly.
Sure.
And would it be possible with your videos of that neighborhood to zoom in while you're doing it so it goes more to our building?
You know, I did look at that. I have that possibility. The only issue that I had, because I have some where I flew in from the parking lot right into the, within about 20 feet of our entrance here. So you're going past the walkway and everything. Well, I just didn't like the shot. To me, it didn't say this whole complex. So I just kind of looked at it as, okay, it didn't work for me as a shot, basically.
Well, I was gonna say too, I would have liked it from the corner of where we are and the bridge, because I think that's an important piece of the camera club is that bridge. But
Well, the other thing I can do is I'll go back in and I can zoom in more on that area to start. And I'll just do that and we'll share it and see what everybody thinks.
I have a whole different quest, Kevin. I am absolutely enamored with that. And I visualized that we could use that at the beginning and the end of every single video that the club produces, irregardless of what SIG it's in. So if you could get me a copy that just said at the beginning, where you have Multimedia SIG,
Sure.
it just said Green Valley Camera Club. We could take a copy of that and put it at the beginning and at the end of every single video the club produces from any of the SIGs or for any purpose. And I think it would be utterly fantastic.
Sure. Well, no problem, Gene. The other thing, and I talked about this, you could make one for for hit me with your best shot. And instead of having the multimedia, have that as a thing. So you could specialize this for any of these, the Fine Art Club or whatever, any of them. And that's a very quick and easy fix to do.
Yeah, I think it'd be wonderful.
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
Just one question. How do you get extra space at the end to add to credits if you need to have additional credits?
As in, which credits are you talking about?
Any that you might happen to need. The music was easy, but if you need to add a little more on the end, how are you going to do it?
Well, I don't.
Just
My
do
thought.
without?
Well, no, my thought, I would. Well, my thought first off is I don't care about any other credits at the end, short of having the Camera Club's logo on there, or logo, and then their website where people are going to go. Honestly, I just look at it as people, once that video's over, people are tuning out and they're on to the next video. So to me, the music's royalty free, so we don't care about that in terms of crediting them. We can extend the clip if, that's not a problem. So I think if there's something that somebody has as a special request, I'd be more than happy to extend it on and, away we go.
Nobody will watch the credits anyway.
That's what I'm thinking, Phil. Yeah. I think
I thought it was great, and the stinger, the music is just fine, and we look like the biggest club on earth.
That's what I kind of liked about it too, was the fact that
In the cool club, what other camera club has a pool?
yeah.
Yeah, it's a recruiting video.
Join our camera club and you get a free membership at the pool. I love it.
so because I'm a slow reader, I would have liked to have the text on just a few seconds longer.
Okay.
Because the multimedia club just kind of goes by pretty quickly.
I guess anybody that's interested can just pause the video.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yep.
I think the other challenge that I had with the text is trying to not cover up the scene. I wanted to make sure, initially I'd put it in the center of the frame. Well, it covered up the building and where the club was and everything else. So I moved it to the top, and then on the close, I brought it in at the bottom just to give it make it easier for people to see what's going on. So we could certainly do that a little bit. The other thing that I don't, especially on the open, I don't think it needs to be, I don't want it to be terribly long, because I don't want somebody to go, oh God, there's a 15-second open.
Or more.
So that I can read the text. It's just supposed to be boom, 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 boom. So that's my thought on that, Grace.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'm
anyway,
just delighted to see a standardized opening. I mean, we've been doing it on our videos for a while that we did for the club, but if we can get something that goes across the club, I think it'll improve the professional appearance of a lot of the club's videos. Now, if we can just get some of the shows that go out on Zoom to get edited like you're doing by putting in the original video instead of what happens during some of the shows, I'll really be delighted.
yeah, I think it makes everything look better, especially when we have somebody that maybe doesn't have the best connection on, with their internet. The video gets choppy or it doesn't sound as good. So we can really just clean it up. I'm proud of this club and I want us to be putting out really good looking stuff so that people go, wow, I want to join that club. That's a good club.
So Kevin, I just have a question, because when you look at the recording that I send you the link to, is the video choppy on the cloud version?
It depends on the person who's showing and sharing their video. Now, today we're here at the club and we've got good internet here. So hopefully when this goes out on Zoom, it looks good. It's not choppy. Or sometimes when people don't have as good of internet, I think like when Gene's been in Michigan, his internet is not the best. And when he's sharing stuff from up there, it can be very choppy. So if Gene sends me the original file,
right.
Larry's having fun with it. But if
I have more trouble with my Cox connection here. 1:30 every afternoon, it gets really crappy for about 20 minutes, and then it comes back on and works just perfectly. And I had the Cox people out, and they can't figure out what's going on, so I just live with it.
Well, anyway, but I think that's something that if we have if people will send me their videos, like Arlene's was just a test, so I don't expect that. But if we share it again and she shows us the whole video, send me the video via the cloud. I'll insert it in when we do the YouTube and we will really make everything look good. And I do that for anybody. I'm happy to do it.
Good. Okay, so we have still a couple more. We have Doug and Brian left.
I'll go ahead and grab. This was done with a third-party screen recorder. Took into account some comments from last time, and it got shorter, and I think we packed more information into it. So, share screen. Okay. Go to our website, and there's some new stuff on our website. Down at the bottom is this video, which is online, and I will play it at this point. Welcome to another how-to video from the GVR Camera Club Multimedia Special Interest Group. Today we're going to walk through how to cleanly share your video in a Zoom meeting using the share screen function on a Windows PC. Let's get right to it. First, we recommend setting your video up before it's time to share it on screen. That way the audience is not waiting for you to go through the process. So locate your video and open it using your preferred application. There are numerous apps available, and we've listed a couple of the more commonly used ones here on the screen. For our example today, we're using the open source VLC media player. Open the app and load your video. If the video is running when you open your app, pause it and rewind it to the very beginning. There are two controls here that we want you to be aware of. They sound like the same thing, but they're really not. They do two different things. The first one is in the Windows control up here in the upper right corner of the window. It says maximize. What this means is it maximizes the window to take over the entire screen like this. As you can see, there's still this white bar up here at the top titles and miscellaneous controls.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
Now, if you don't mind that stuff showing on the screen while you run your video, fine, that's your choice. Personally, we find it distracting, and we don't design our videos with that white bar up there. To get rid of that, look for the control on your app. On VLC Media Player, it's this button right there. It says toggle the video in full screen. Other applications may word it slightly differently, but what it means is it will play the video in full screen mode, and it's not referring to the window. And watch what happens when I click this. It takes over the entire screen, no annoying bar at the top. Here's the button to bring it back out of full screen. Now finally, while you're here, turn the volume on ALC, it's this control here, turn it all the way up to 100%. If your viewers think it's too loud, they can turn it down at their end. Now you're basically ready to show your video. It's almost completely ready to run. All you have to do is click on the share screen button located here. But before you do that, you might consider hitting the mute button like this. That ensures that you don't have a hot mic while your video is playing. You might also consider hitting the stop video button. That way, whatever you have for an avatar will show, or just your name will show, like this. I'm going to turn this back on. And now we'll go to share screen. When you click on share screen, this box pops up. It shows various things that you can share. The active window that you're looking at now, but right here is the VLC Media Player with the video preloaded. Click on that, and it will turn blue around it. That indicates that you've selected it. Now to finish sharing it, you click this, but before that, ensure that these two buttons here are checked. One, so that you'll share sound when you play your video, and two, optimize for video clip. Now go ahead and share. Two more steps and you're in business. First, click on that View Full Screen button. Then, click on the play button and move your mouse off the right side of the screen, and then take your hand off of it. The controls will fade away and your video will start to play in full screen mode, just the way you designed it to show. All right, let's fast forward to the end. When your video finishes, hit the stop share button. Unmute your mic so that you can answer those questions. If you want to, you can click that and get rid of it. And that's it. This process works pretty much the same for all video players. To ensure you nail it when it's your turn to show a video or even just a photo, just sign up for your own Zoom account and practice this a couple of times. You'll be ready to go in no time. Now let's go watch some videos.
That was pretty clean, Brian. I like the way that you had every time you had your cursor doing something, you had it highlighted with a circle or another rectangle, so that it was easy to see where you were pointing.
It's driven me nuts for years that people expect you to be able to see this little teeny tiny cursor on a screen when you're illustrating something. So that's a feature that you can put together in DaVinci Resolve. It's a fusion overlay.
Very nice. Good job.
Good job.
The only thing I missed was the opening where you high five somebody and say, "Hey, bros." So I would add that.
What's happening?
Well, I don't do high fives anymore because of my shoulder surgeries. So, you know, they're out of luck.
Seriously,
You know, Brian, just, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
audio that we heard during that was just somebody online, right?
Yes.
It wasn't on my end. It was
Oh, okay.
somebody in the
Yeah, I was
audience there.
Yeah, I muted somebody that it appeared that they were, the sound was coming from their mic.
That's good.
Hey, Brian, if you can send me that video via the cloud, I will insert that in YouTube without any sort of issues for you too.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
One last question for Gene. We're doing multimedia for the 10-week course week after next, right?
Correct.
The 23rd.
Yes.
If anybody is interested, if they would go to the Multimedia SIG website and look under educational resources, you can find the outline that we're going to use. If you have any objections to any of that, please get in touch with me.
I just want a quick aside to you. We often forget how good these videos are. If you'll recall, Brian and the Multimedia SIG made a video for me a couple years ago on how to make foam core mounted prints. There's a copy of it on the club's YouTube, but I also put a copy on my personal YouTube. And as of yesterday, my personal YouTube had 42,000 hits on that video.
Amazing.
Wow.
You know, so you got to think about, they've got to be good if 40,000 people went to look at it.
So does anybody else have anything for the good of the order before I stop recording? If not, this is February 14th, so our next multimedia on Zoom will be the 28th. And on the 21st, if you're in town, join everybody at the club. See you later.